Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Lariat Talk. We're going to get right into it. We're going to be talking about discussions and predictions and having conversations and all that junk. And the biggest thing in the world of pro wrestling right now is the 2025 Royal Rumble, and we are going to predict the shit out of it right now. Okay, I have a lot of fantasy booking and creative ideas that I see happening in this Royal Rumble. It's not difficult to say that this might be one of the best Royal Rumbles and one of the most stacked events in recent memory. As of right now, the only 3 matches that have been confirmed for me are the Women's Rumble match, the Men's Rumble match, and the ladder match between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed World Heavyweight Universal Winged Eagle Championship. Man, they gotta stop adding things to that name. Calm down! My heart wants Kevin Owens to win. I think Kevin Owens could win the ladder match and easily hold on to the belt for a month or so and drop it back down to Cody. Add a little bit of stakes for Cody to get his championship back and essentially his main event spot at WrestleMania back. However, I do think Randy Orton is going to come in, cause a ruckus for Kevin Owens, and Cody's going to retain. Randy could essentially turn heel and possibly RKO Cody and help Kevin win. Or he could just RKO Kevin, let Cody win, and then we know that Kevin Owens and Randy Orton are probably going to fight at either Elimination Chamber or at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. So, I'm kind of 50-50 on this. My heart says Kevin Owens is going to win, but the wrestling brain in me says Cody's probably going to retain, and he's probably going to hold that title all the way until Mania. Okay, hold on. Pause. Again, future Braeden here. New revelations just came out. Monday Night Raw was just last night, so there's some more things I must add to this prediction, as well as I actually have to give you guys my prediction for the 2 out of 3 falls match between Motor City Machine Guns and hashtag DIY. I'm pretty sure it's still hashtag DIY. They might just be going by DIY now. I don't know. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. This is going to be a banger. Banger after banger after banger. It's going to be good. It's going to be really good. I've loved the Motor City Machine Guns ever since TNA. I believe that their Beer Money feud was probably one of their best feuds. I'm a huge Beer Money fan. I wish we had Beer Money in WWE, but obviously, things happen. But I'm really happy to see Motor City Machine Guns in WWE. I'm really happy to see that they're being pushed as a credible threat on SmackDown. Anyways, enough rambling. DIY have to win. If you turn heel and you don't win the immediate match after your turn, it doesn't mean anything. You turn to the dark side only to lose. Granted, this isn't their first match after turning heel, so you could potentially have them lose, but the heel run just started like a month or 2 ago. So it's still too early. You have to have them have that reign for a long time. Heels can have long title reigns. So if you want to create sympathy for Motor City Machine Guns, just have them chase the titles and eventually coronate them when the iron is hot. Long-term storytelling here. I don't see any other teams interfering. DIY all the way. Motor City Machine Guns will have their coronation down the line, probably at WrestleMania. So, yeah. Okay, on to the Women's Rumble match. My number 1 pick is Io Sky. The reason I believe Io Sky is going to win the Rumble is because she not only had a great showing against Liv Morgan for the World Women's Championship, but she also had a great showing in the Intercontinental Tournament for the women on Monday Night Raw. I believe they're setting her up for either a Rumble win or an Elimination Chamber win. I think Io should win the Rumble, cement her spot into going to WrestleMania. That's my thought process. With the Women's Rumble, I think we're going to have a lot of call-ups. I think we're going to have a lot of surprise entrances. I think we're going to have a lot of returns. I believe we're going to have Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch. I believe Jade Cargill is going to make her return and possibly attack Naomi or Bianca, depending on how they're going to let that storyline unfold. I believe Jordynne Grace from TNA is going to make her official debut in WWE. I know she's wrapping up her TNA contract right now. Genesis just happened, so congratulations to Joe Hendry. So yeah, I believe she's going to be making her 100% WWE debut at the Rumble, probably setting something up for a Intercontinental Championship match for her or a United States Championship match for her. I also think Roxanne Perez from NXT is going to make a jump up to the main roster. And I think we're going to probably get prominent showcasings of Liv Morgan and Nia Jax and Bianca Belair and all these other wonderful performers who have been busting their asses all of 2024. So yeah, I think it's going to be Io Sky. I don't think it's going to be Becky. I don't think it's going to be Charlotte. I do think it's going to be Charlotte versus Tiffany at WrestleMania, but I don't think we're going to go the route of Charlotte winning the Rumble. I think Charlotte's going to win the Elimination Chamber and then challenge Tiffany. I also think it will be Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley for Women's World Championship at WrestleMania. Where everyone else folds in, I think Becky's going to obviously do something. I think Becky's probably going to challenge for either the US or the Intercontinental. I believe Grace is going to challenge for either the US or Intercontinental. We might have some sort of triple threat or some sort of fallout between Bianca, Jade, and Naomi. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents. Okay, the big one. This is the hardest Rumble to predict who's going to win. Who the f*** is calling me? Oh god, it's WWE calling me. I'm just gonna ignore Paul for now. Sorry, Mr. Levesque. And I'm gonna continue on with this if you don't mind. Anyways, whenever they're pushing someone so hard on TV to give the audience the perception that they're probably the favorite to win the Rumble, odds are they're gonna pull the cloth over our eyes and change plans. I think the reason why they're pushing Punk to win the Rumble is because Seth is the one who's actually going to win the Rumble. And here's why. Seth Rollins has 3 objectives as of right now. 1, Punk cannot win the Rumble. 2, Punk cannot win the World Heavyweight Championship. And 3, Punk cannot main event WrestleMania 41. How do you do that? Punk gets eliminated by Seth. Seth cements his spot in the main event of WrestleMania and just digs into CM Punk on how he beat him and took away the one thing that meant the world to him. So, what does CM Punk do? If CM Punk sees Seth Rollins as being this petty little princess, CM Punk's the king of pettiness. Punk is going to call in the favor of Paul Heyman and either 1, get into the Elimination Chamber match and win the World Heavyweight Championship, or 2, he's going to challenge Gunther before WrestleMania and win the World Heavyweight Championship. What does that do for CM Punk? Not only does he win the world title, but he also goes to the main event of WrestleMania, therefore facing Seth Rollins. In the grand scheme of things, Seth Rollins might have won the battle of making sure that Punk didn't win the Rumble, but he lost the war in the idea of making sure he didn't win the world title and making sure he did not main event WrestleMania. So now CM Punk and Seth are caught in this unending pettiness war and are forced to face each other at WrestleMania. I can see the promos and I can see the anger of Seth going through this and just watching this happen. This would cause a psychological break for Seth Rollins, which could potentially lead to his heel turn. So yeah, I thought a lot about this. Is just what I see from watching Raw and seeing where WrestleMania is most likely going to be going. That's what makes sense to me. I could be completely wrong. Anyways, my number 1 pick is obviously Seth Rollins for all the reasons I just chose. I don't think it's going to be CM Punk. I think CM Punk is going to either win the Elimination Chamber and win the world title, or just beat Gunther and win the world title, and then we're just going to have a collision course between Seth Rollins and CM Punk for the world title in the main event of WrestleMania. Now, onto some of the other predictions. I don't think Drew's going to win. I think Drew is going to cost both Punk and Roman in some way, shape, or form in this Rumble. Moving on to Roman, I think we're going to get Drew versus Roman at WrestleMania, because the Moana reshoots are probably going to be taking place in April during that whole WrestleMania weekend. I don't think Rock is necessarily going to be able to do a match. I think he'll probably appear and possibly screw over Roman. I do think Roman and Rock will fight in the main event of the first ever 2-night SummerSlam. What people need to understand is SummerSlam, to justify it having 2 nights, you have to build this as WrestleMania. As a lot of people have already said on the internet, you have to build it as hot WrestleMania. Essentially, WrestleMania during the summer. You have to build this. How do you build it? You have the biggest marquee match possible with Roman Reigns versus The Rock. He's free. There's no scheduling conflicts. That's the time to do it. He's obviously the most busy person in the history of ever. I recently also looked up his net worth. It's like $800 million, apparently. I don't know how, trustworthy all those sites are to see, celebrity net worth. But, Tom Cruise was at, $600 million, and The Rock was at $800 million. That's just stupid money. I really don't think it's going to be Roman. I think it's probably going to be Drew and Roman at Mania. Rock interferes in some way, shape, or form. Sets up Roman and Rock at SummerSlam. Do I think The Rock's going to be in the Rumble? I'm going to give it a 10% chance. Some call-ups and surprise entrances that I can see happening are Trick Williams, Ethan Page, Lexis King from NXT, Obafemi. I could see them easily being slotted into their first Royal Rumble matches. It could be great for NXT to show that there is a unity between all 3 brands. So the Rumble is not only for Raw and SmackDown, it's also for NXT. I think that's a great inclusion. With that being said, TNA and WWE officially have entered a relationship. Congratulations. You guys have been, kind of doing this little dance forever, and you guys have finally made it official. I'm very proud of you. Anyways, with the TNA official partnership, I think we're going to get Joe Hendry, Moose, Jeff Hardy, and or Matt Hardy in the Rumble. And inject this into my veins. I need Jeff Hardy standoff against CM Punk. That was the best feud of 2009. I cried as a kid when Punk sent Hardy packing. And I cried when Punk initially cashed in on Hardy. I was the biggest Jeff Hardy fan. And I also loved CM Punk. And Punk broke my heart and then proceeded to beat the crap out of my hero. Beautiful storytelling. I have not recovered psychologically since that day. I think it actually might show. Inject that into my veins. Give us a Jeff Hardy CM Punk standoff in the Rumble. That would be so cool. And I mean, Matt Hardy is just Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy is phenomenal. He is so underrated in the ring. So underrated for character work. So underrated for psychology. The dude is phenomenal. Sorry, AJ. Speaking of AJ Styles could very well make his return in the Rumble. Maybe. I don't really know his injury status at the moment, but I would love to see AJ back in a WWE ring. AJ is awesome. He deserves at least one more go around with the world title. So, yeah. AJ, you're awesome. Throw him in. And legend-wise, I don't think we're going to see anyone like Goldberg. I don't think we're going to see anyone like Brock Lesnar in it. I just don't think we need it right now. I'm back. Future Braeden is back. We're going to talk about a few things that happened at Monday Night Raw last night. And we're going to talk about a few things I touched upon earlier. I still believe Io Sky is going to win the Royal Rumble. She's been the workhorse worker within the women's division. So I think setting her up for a good match at WrestleMania would be a really good idea. I didn't mention Alexa Bliss earlier. I don't think she's going to return. She could, but I don't necessarily think she needs to return at the Rumble. I think she could be someone that returns later. But with that being said, this is going to be a really, really good women's Rumble. This might be the best women's Rumble since 2018 when it first came. Speaking of 2018 Rumble, Asuka could return. Asuka would be a great choice to be in the Rumble. Do I think she's going to win? Probably not. But she could potentially be in that Final Four setting of being in the Rumble and possibly having a really good match going forward into WrestleMania. I don't necessarily know what her injury status is. If she's ready to go, plug her in, because Asuka is one of the best wrestlers of all time. So yeah, throw Asuka in there if she's ready. I still think it's going to be Io Sky personally. If Charlotte wins, great. If Jordynne Grace wins, great. If anyone wins, great. I'm going to be happy. It's just, this is my predictions, so everyone's free to their own opinion. That's just mine, baby. The ladder match, yeah, Cody's going to win. There might be some shenanigans. I definitely think Randy is going to come out and cost Kevin. I don't necessarily know how that's all going to fold out. I definitely think both Randy and Sammy are going to play a part in this ladder match. But at the end of the day, I think Cody's going to win the title, because Cody is going into WrestleMania 41 as the WWE Champion. A person I really didn't talk about a little bit ago is Logan Paul and John Cena. I think that's going to be the match at WrestleMania as of right now. I think Logan is either going to eliminate Cena or Cena's going to eliminate Logan. One of the two. Something's going to happen to where that match is going to happen at WrestleMania. Why? It's the biggest multimedia match possible for the card. Yes, we want Cena to have his 17th championship. Yes, we want Cena to go into his last WrestleMania main eventing. But I don't think it's there yet. I think Cena is on his retirement tour. I think Cena wants to mesh up with some people that he's never had the chance to tango with. And Logan Paul has to be at the top of that list. Go back and watch the Logan Paul and John Cena interview. There's definitely intrigue between those two characters wrestling. I can see the promos. I can see the match. If there's someone who can bring the best out of Logan, and if there's someone who can bring the best out of Cena, it's those two. It's a perfect match. So I think going forward, that's going to be the match. I think that's going to be one of the big matches going into WrestleMania. That's why I don't think Cena's going to win. Moving on to some other things that have happened. I was thinking about this the other day, and then it happened on Monday Night Raw. No one's talking about CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. What are we doing, guys? First, we're ignoring Seth, and now we were completely ignoring the fact that everyone's wanted CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes since AEW. And we never got it there. We got it for 10 minutes at the end of the 2024 Royal Rumble, and now we might potentially get it at this year's WrestleMania. Maybe. Here's why. I think there's two reasons why they showed that on the go-home show to the Royal Rumble. One, to swerve us. I also think the other reason they did it was to try to get intrigue from us fans to see if it's something we're interested in. Which, if that's the case, we're interested. We want it. Give it to us. I think Cody versus Punk, from a storyline perspective, makes far more sense than Cody versus Cena or Punk versus Roman. I'm not a fan of either of those matches for WrestleMania. It's not that I don't want those matches, it's that the story is not there yet. I don't see the breadcrumbs. There's been very, very few things happening between those characters to where there's not a lot of meat on the bones yet. That's why I still think Seth is going to win the Rumble. And when push comes to shove, when Punk has that favor to cash in, I think he would rather go after Seth than go after Cody. And I still think, especially after this Monday Night Raw, it's going to be Drew and Roman. Drew and Heyman just had a great segment together. I think it's going to be Drew and Roman. I don't think Rock is doing Mania. I think Rock will be a part of Mania, but I don't think he's wrestling. I know from last year's experience, Rock likes to have that 12-week program essentially to get himself back into ring shape, which is a great idea. I don't think he's going to have those 12 weeks going forward into this WrestleMania. So I think he's just going to appear, but he's not going to actually have a match. I do think this Drew versus Roman match is going to help set up Drew for 2025, and it's going to help set up Roman for going into this Rock feud towards SummerSlam. I still think it's going to be Rock versus Roman at SummerSlam. I don't think it's happening at WrestleMania, but you know what? If it happens at WrestleMania, whatever. Awesome. I love it. I dig it. These are just my thoughts. So yeah, those were my predictions on the very first episode of Lariat Talk for the 2025 Royal Rumble brought to you by WWE. WWE just keeps on texting me. Man, Triple H is really not happy with me right now. Anyways, like, follow, subscribe. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to win the Royal Rumble. Let me know in the comments after the Royal Rumble happens and say, Braeden, you were so wrong. Or be like, Braeden, how did you know this? And if it is that, I mean, yes, I was right. Screw you, Bruno. So yeah, like, follow, subscribe, all that mumbo jumbo. Hope you guys are having a great, awesome end of the month. See you guys in the next one. And until next time, have a great day. Savvy!
Whoa, Black Betty, bam-ba-lam. Whoa, Black Betty, bam-ba-lam. Black Betty had a child, bam-ba-lam. The damn thing gone wild, bam-ba-lam. She's had him worrying my mind.